Welcome to another episode of Dad's Rules with Kevin Belzer. And today we're going to deep dive into yet another business here in the Valley. I've got a couple guests on with me today. I'm going to shoot it right to them because they do a lot and I cannot possibly remember the name of your parent company. So take it away.
Awesome. So our parent company is at Advanced Residential and Commercial Construction, better known as ARCC. So what we do is we're general contractors, but we specialize in the demolition space.
Okay.
So we are asbestos certified, biohazard certified. So we can come in and essentially tear down a structure, whether it's storm damage, water damage, whatever that looks like. We're able to tear it down completely.
So
So yeah,
basically, any level of hazardous.
correct.
I heard recently you guys do asbestos.
Yes. Yes, so
Do
that's
you run into a lot of that here in the Valley?
so we're starting to see an uptick in asbestos in new builds.
In new
In
builds?
new builds, it's starting to pop up again. Is what we're seeing quite frequently. Whether it's a tape in the drywall or any type of drywall materials, we're starting to see a lot more
Is
asbestos.
that because it's sourced overseas?
Overseas, yes, and it's not necessarily illegal to manufacture. So it went away for some time, and now it's starting to bring itself back
Okay.
into to construction. Is what we're seeing on our end.
I can deep dive into this, but first, introduce who you are.
So yeah, my name is Andres Castañeda.
Okay.
So yeah,
And you are?
And my name is Lupe Manzanedo.
Lupe.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I want to get back to this. So what countries is this coming from, this asbestos?
from what we're seeing is China. China is sending a lot of this asbestos or building materials recently, and that's what we're starting to see more of. Where we're new into the asbestos field,
Yeah.
but what we're seeing is it's coming into new builds.
And you had to get certified for that, right?
Correct. So we have our certification for asbestos removal. We're currently working on our transport licenses to get from start to finish, where we're able to handle all the material from home to landfill. Is essentially where we're headed.
Yeah, because it's got to be disposed of a special
Correctly.
way.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been an exciting turn of events for our company.
Yeah, because that seemed to come out of nowhere. I mean, I'm sure that you guys have been working on it for a while, but I just recently found out you guys did this.
Yeah, so we started off as a trash company. I
Yeah.
mean, that was where all of our groundwork started.
Well, and that makes sense because
right.
you got to start somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the trash company was super fun and successful, and we
Yeah.
just kind of went off on a tangent and found ourselves deep into this, I guess, where we're now licensed, bonded, and insured. We're going for asbestos certifications, and we're trying to level up, I guess.
Yeah, because I had no idea it was a new build. I've dealt with it on homes from the 60s. When we rehabbed, we've had to get crews in to dispose of it.
Right.
But I never knew that it existed on new builds.
And that's what we're seeing now, and we're still trying to learn the process ourselves, but
Yeah.
that's kind of what we're seeing in a lot of these new builds.
So you mentioned tape. I know that China had an issue with the drywall board that they were using at 1.2, correct?
Correct.
And was there asbestos in that as well, or was it just other chemicals?
It's in the drywall and in the drywall tape. We're seeing it in tile. We're seeing it in a lot of different materials that are essentially being put in these homes.
And there's no excuse for that because my dad used to haul the material that makes drywall out of Iowa. So it's
Okay.
not like we can't source the stuff here in the States
Right.
and not have the problem because we have different regulations, obviously, here.
Right. Yeah, and then we're starting to see it, which is super interesting because you buy a new build and you're like, okay, it's a safe environment for my kids, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But once it's disturbed, it's ultimately, it can cause some problems, I guess you could say.
Yeah, lung issues.
Yes.
Wow.
So yeah, it's interesting. Definitely interesting.
So let's go back to your guys' origin story. I know that you and your brother are part owners in the company, right?
Correct.
And then you got a brother from another mother, Lupe,
Yes.
That's it. That's right.
as well.
Correct.
So how did you guys all get involved in this?
Okay. So like you said, we both we came from the the waste management industry.
Yeah.
We owned 2 different junk removal companies, and we were competitors that eventually collaborated and started working with one another,
Okay.
building relationships, and it kind of just blossomed from there. And so over the last few years, it just seemed like everyone was going in the direction of construction, becoming licensed, doing demolition,
Yeah.
restoration type work, fire, water, mold, asbestos.
Yeah.
So we came together because at the end of the day, you know, they had their problems with their business. We had our problems with our business. And I personally found that it would be better for me to partner up with someone
Right.
and scale up.
So take the strengths of the two companies, combine them together, and that removes the weaknesses.
Sure.
The weaknesses, it gives us more equipment, it gives us more
Yeah.
advantage to help our customers in the community. So it went from a small operation into a 3-truck, 3-trailer type operation where we're able to do 6 jobs at a time with his guys, our guys, and be able to get it all taken care of.
So you guys specialize still with the restoration side of things. You still specialize in the junk removal. Is that understanding this, or do you actually do remodeling on top of everything?
So the remodel, not quite yet.
Not quite
We're
yet.
still getting all of our leadership team set up to where we're no longer involved in the demolition side.
Okay, so that's like the next step.
That's our next step, correct?
Okay.
Is getting all of our leadership team in place. This way we can focus on continuing to build the company,
Yeah.
but we're no longer doing the demolition ourselves. Where that's taken care of, and we can now focus on the remodel side, building the remodel
Right.
department. That's 6 months, 8 months
But
away.
still, it's got to be exciting seeing where you're scaling to.
Correct.
Sure.
And 6 months from now, it's like you'll look back and not even recognize your company anymore.
It's
Right.
interesting.
Yeah. So how many years have you been doing this?
Which part?
Your junk removal. We'll start there.
So I believe all together combined, we've
Mhm.
probably got 8 years,
Roughly.
Okay.
6 to 8 years
Yeah.
of combined experience with junk removal and waste management.
Okay. So you started before everything got crazy in the market. So it's not like you guys came around right in the middle of the real estate market going absolutely blitzkrieg in 2000 and 2002.
Yeah, no, one of the companies was founded in 2019, early 2019.
Okay.
So that's where that one started, and then this one.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
So yeah, my brother's he's the one that kind of gave us a drive to go in the direction that we did. Is
Yeah.
he comes from the residential and commercial construction side.
Okay.
So he has like 15 plus years of experience in that side of things, the restoration side.
Yeah.
Essentially just, so he's taken this to a whole different scale, I guess you could say, of
Yeah.
motivating us into, okay, well, we're no longer picking up trash. We still do. But the thing is that
Right.
we've taken our guys and we've put them into the construction side with us. But he's also motivated us into like going in this direction, and ultimately it's been a great pivot for us.
Well, financially, it makes sense.
Financially, yes.
Because there's only going to be X amount of dollars in trashing out a house. However, if you get into where you can do the specialty stuff, the mold remediation or flood damage or asbestos, it's going to pay at a different level.
Right.
Correct.
Definitely higher ticket sales. Yes. So
Yeah.
Higher ticket sales, where we're also able to get our guys onto jobs for 3 days, 5 days, versus we don't have anything tomorrow, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. It's
Where-
like you could do a trash out of, say, somebody's garage.
Right.
You know, that's a few hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, where am I going to use them the rest of the day?
Right.
Right.
What next? So
Yeah.
so we're able to. It's still in the beginning stages of building the company. So
Oh,
we're,
no,
we're
totally get it.
still,
Totally get it. But you're scaling. So
Correct.
how many employees are you at right now?
Currently, we have 3 employees.
Okay.
Um,
Plus you 3.
plus us 3.
So you got
we're-
6 total.
6 total. So we're still out in the field. We still go out. We show up to your job site. We show
Mhm.
up and do our part to make sure that your project runs smoothly. But that's where we're getting our leadership team in place to where essentially we can hand that off to our leadership and they can take care of it. I guess we have another 3 admin. We have a 3-person admin team. So our
Okay,
wives
so
are
nine
yeah,
total.
9
Yeah.
total.
I,
So
that's pretty awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun. Our admin team takes care of all the back end stuff.
Oh, I wouldn't be able to live without
Yeah.
transaction coordinators and TAs and
It
all that back end support. It's
Yeah.
just impossible. It's like, and plus there's a lot of stuff that I personally don't want to do.
right.
Right.
Yeah, vendor packets are one of my least favorite things to fill out.
Well, or trying to figure out how you do tax stuff
Right.
for paying people.
Right.
Who the hell is FICA
Yeah.
or FICO or whatever? I don't know. I don't know. It's like, who's this person? I didn't authorize them to get a part of my check.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So it works out. It's great. The back end team helps us out for sure. They take care of a lot of the things we don't like you said, we don't want to.
No, and you need to
handle.
put people in that have a skill that you're lacking in, or like I said before, you just don't want to do.
Right.
Because you may be able to do it, but it just may be like you'd rather chew on broken glass
Yes.
than do it. Yeah. So totally get that. So you guys have tell me a cool trash out that you've done. If you want a moment, I'll tell you one of my worst that I did on a rehab property, because I flip homes as well.
Nice.
We had one 12 years ago to where I went to the home and it reeked of cat anything in the home. It turned out they had over 50 cats there. They were hoarders from the extent of not only pets, but stuff as well. I was able to be in the home for maybe 2 minutes and I had to exit it. And we ended up just giving them a cash offer on the home because there's no way you can list it. Right. They moved out and just abandoned everything to us.
Cats included?
Yeah. Yeah. We had to call Humane Society because I'm not going to put down. But we called the Humane Society to get them, and they got about 50 cats out. But then the stuff on top of it, and because of the smell and everywhere, because it's like one room was their litter box. Imagine a bedroom just being a litter box.
Right.
So we had to hire a removal company that was in hazmat suits to clean out the property. That's how bad it was. And it took 3 of the giant dumpsters to empty this house that was maybe 1,800 square feet.
So a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff. And we had to have all the carpets, all the cabinets, everything removed and basically start the home over.
And then run an ozone machine to clean it out?
Yeah, we ran ozone machines multiple times. We also had the concrete cleaned. It took 7 cleanings of the concrete because it just kept coming up.
Right.
It took 7 cleanings before we finally had the odor out. And then we put the new carpet down. We did pet resistant padding down to just in case for the next owners as well, which cost us more money at the time. Now it's no difference. But back then it was a lot more money to put the pet resistant pad down. But yeah, that was my worst.
So back to your question, I wouldn't necessarily say that it was cool. It was interesting because we were doing I would say a 2,000 square foot home, clean out for an investor.
Mm-hmm.
And we went into this home and hoarder situation, and everything was to about your knees throughout the whole house. Every square foot, every square inch, every piece of the home was to your knees. But the interesting thing about it was that everything had tags on it. Everything was brand new. And there were at least 10 to 20 of everything. And all these items were from Nordstrom's, Macy's, Dillard's, Neiman Marcus.
Yeah.
You name it, it was name brand, top of the line, with tags on it, everywhere throughout the whole house. And they just left it. The investor bought it just as it was. We went in there. So what was really cool about it was we got to take that stuff out of the home and donate it where it could be used. We took it to battered women's shelters. And
see, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So, we do pride ourselves in keeping what we can out of the landfill. And if it's donatable, we repurpose it.
I think that's important too. We try to do the same thing if we can. But in that particular instance, that house was in such bad shape, it unfortunately can only go to landfill.
Right.
But like we've had ones to where there's no smell, there's just a lot of stuff.
Sure.
And I think some of these homeowners, they just get overwhelmed of collecting and collecting over the years. Hoarding, collecting is a nice word, but collecting over the years. And when they need to move or it gets dumped on a family member, it's just too overwhelming to deal with. And they just call junk removal or sell it to an investor who makes it their problem. And then we call junk removal to have it just taken away.
Right. And that's what started all of this is going in and doing these trash outs. They're fun. You get there and you've got 7 trailers of trash in there. So we run 15, 15 cubic yard dump trailers.
Okay.
So getting in there and just loading these trailers, sending them to the landfill or sending them to wherever we can donate is it's exciting. To be a part of that process and kind of seeing the end result.
Yeah.
So,
and your job, like mine, because I'm in real estate, is nice thing is each day is different from the day before.
right.
It may be another house you're trashing out, but it's a different experience.
Correct. There's so many different contents and so many different lives that you go into and you just don't know what somebody has.
Yeah.
Which is super cool.
You know, I want to add, we work with an estate sales company, and we're talking $5-6 million homes, and they're just getting rid of the things that were left over they couldn't sell.
Yeah.
We've furnished a whole apartment for a woman who was in an abusive relationship for her and her children. And it just felt so good that we could it worked out so perfect. Like we got the phone call like, hey, do you have any of these items? A matter of fact, we got 2 trailer fulls and we're headed your way now.
Yeah.
And it just changed their whole life. And, they were just crying. They were so happy. And it just felt so good to serve them that way.
Yeah.
So donations are huge, and it's so fun to serve in that way.
Well, and that's something that if anybody out there is flipping homes, that they need to be thinking about, that if we're switching out the appliances, there's probably somebody that has need for those appliances. Because a lot of times there's nothing wrong with the appliances. It's just that whatever level we're taking the home to, it can't have that anymore. It needs to be stainless steel or an upper quality, like Wolf or whatever. Yet we still have perfectly good appliances, furniture, whatever it may be in the house that could be donated somewhere. Because I know one time I was trashing out a home at the same time that a client of mine had a broken dishwasher, and it was nice knowing that I could take this dishwasher over to this client's home and save them $400 or $500.
Right.
Because all we need was a working dishwasher, so the home qualified for loans.
Right.
And then helping the community out in that way is always good.
Oh yeah,
That's what makes every day. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it
Getting
gives
to
you a
help out.
reason to get up and conquer the day.
Right.
All right. So if anybody wants to reach you, what is the best way to reach your guys' company?
Do you want the phone number? It's on the back of my shirt. Why don't you read it?
It says 480-716-6217.
So yes, that is our main office number.
Perfect.
So one of the admin teams will answer it and direct the call to wherever they need to.
Well, perfect. I have a lot of realtors, a lot of people in business that they do need junk removal.
Perfect.
So I was kind of excited when we both reached out to each other and wanted to have you guys on the show
Absolutely.
and just talk about what you did. I find what you do absolutely exciting. So definitely, I want to thank you guys for coming on the show.
Oh, we appreciate
We
you.
appreciate you having us.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
So if you guys like the show, please like, review, share, leave feedback. It all helps the show grow. Also hit the swag shop on your way out, dadsruleswag.com. And until next time, go out and be the kick-ass adult I know you all could be.
Thank you, guys.
That's it.